Hi everyone, Coach Alexa here. I had a question in from a runner this week about why do you not run a full marathon distance in training for a marathon? Great question. Simple answer to that one is it's all about training benefit versus injury risk and that seesaw and that balance. And running a full marathon in training really does tip that seesaw from more towards a higher injury risk than the training benefit that it gives. So this is why that is the case. Why do we still get that good training benefit without running a full marathon distance in training? Well, that's because of all the other sessions that you're doing. So every weekend, when you're going into a longer run, you're doing that long run off the back of cumulative fatigue from the long run the previous weekend, shorter runs that you've done through the week in the build up to that long run. So you're doing all of those long training runs in a pre-fatigued state. And also all of those other training runs count towards that endurance capacity build, which is what we're after for marathon training. So you're going into each of those long runs fatigued, whereas for the marathon itself, you'll do what's called a taper. So it's usually around 3 weeks, might be 2, might be 4, where the training drops back from the final big week of training, drops back gradually in distance and in speed, so that by the time you get to the marathon race day, the week before the race, you've been doing relatively little running, which means that your body is fully recovered, it's fully adapted to all of the training that you've done in your training plan to get you to the start line, and you're feeling full of beans and energy for race day. You're so going into that run feeling fully recovered, rested and full of energy, which is not, frankly, the state that you've gone into any of your long runs feeling. So that's where we can get that additional benefit in terms of running that extra distance on marathon day. Most marathon training plans will take you up to around the 20-mile or 32-kilometre mark. That varies a little bit in the plans I write for people, for example, depending on how much time you've got available, your running history, your current fitness levels, what else you do, all of that sort of stuff. So it might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less for that final long run, might be in time instead of in distance. So yeah, it's worth having that confidence, I guess, that trusting that training plan, that cumulative endurance build is not just each individual long run that builds that endurance, it's the whole plan as it builds week on week. Thinking ahead, or thinking to longer distances, just as an example, so for ultras, you'll notice that percentage difference that we get in marathon between final long run and race day distance can get that little bit bigger. In an ultra, you're going to do a lower percentage of your total race distance in a single long run session. But even more so with ultras, we're getting the benefit of other stuff in the week. So you might have a longish and a longer run at the weekend. So you're pre-fatiguing with a shorter long run and then doing your full long run. You might have quite long runs, middle distance long runs creeping into the midweek. So it's about that overall cumulative fatigue and training effect across the week, not just the solitary long run making that difference. Hope that's helpful.